Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another edition of Julia Lynn Productions, Inc., JLP Productions TV. I'm your host, Laverne Bowen, and yet again, we have done it. We've brought you the best of our communities, this time concerning mentoring our youth. Now, we have many different organizations, we have many different entities that look into helping our youth become all that they can be. However, today, we brought you one that is very special. By way of Mr. Mychal Sledge and his fabulous organization.
Thank you.
Mr. Sledge! Can I call you Mychal?
Please do.
Thank you, Mychal. Welcome here to BronxNet Studios.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate
you. No problem. Now, I have to say that we go back a long way.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Sledge and his wife were wonderful to myself, Julia Lynn Productions, Inc., and coming on to our radio show, a little male lady from the community trying to put something together for the kids. Mr. Sledge came on board and gave us a wonderful, wonderful pep talk and so forth. How's everything with your wife?
Awesome. Everything is great. Thank God.
Thank God. Now, Mr. Sledge, please, I know you well, but please let our listening and viewing audience know exactly who you are.
I am Mychal Sledge, Chief Executive Officer for the Sledge Group, Inc. It's a community-based 501(c) nonprofit. We focus on mentoring, but it's a three-pronged holistic approach through education, through parent support group, and group mentoring, as well as one-on-one mentoring.
Wonderful. Now, you talk about tripod. Can you tell holistic? I love that as well. Now, there are so many different wonderful mentorship programs,
Yes, they
but
are.
yours is called The Last House on the Block.
Yes.
Now, I love that. Mychal, why is it called The Last House on the Block?
The young people, the children, actually named us The Last House on the Block. We start in the evening, 6 p.m. until 8, usually till 9. But they get out of school 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Right.
And they would show up immediately after school and wait for the program to start. The Last House on the Block is a safe haven. It's a place for them to come, not being judged at all, and they know they're going to get some good guidance, raw and healthy and holistic. But they named us The Last House on the Block.
They named you
Yeah.
that. Wonderful. So now, why is it that you sought to do this or fill in that gap, Mr. Sledge?
It has a lot to do with how I was raised. It has a lot to do with what's going on in our community. Anybody can sit back and talk about the problems in the
Yes.
community.
Yes.
I wasn't raised that way. I was taught to do things and start things. So my wife and I started this 501(c) 2001. We actually started the program in 1998.
Wow.
And did the paperwork, got approved, took a lot of training around mentoring for at-risk youth and for just mentoring as a whole. We wrote our own training manual. We train all our mentors every year. But the need in the community between the education system, the prison, public school to prison pipeline,
Yes.
the drug situation,
Yes.
and the gang situation was a major reason why we started this organization.
Wow. And then who is it that you partner with? Who is part of your wife, who is
Yes.
absolutely wonderful?
No.
And she also has her thing going with
Yes.
the Sisters United
Yes.
and such.
Yes.
I can't wait to bring her on and
Thank you.
speak with her. But who is also part of your staff?
We've been blessed, and I remember starting the program. A lot of my friends, professionals in various careers, but we've been blessed to have doctors, engineers, teachers from almost every gamut of life. A lot of entrepreneurs have come on board. Some are childhood friends, but it's a myriad of mentors that come through the door every year and commit to being a mentor to these young people.
Wow, and you welcome mentors and you also train them.
Yes, we do.
So you don't just necessarily stick with the same ones. You
No.
want to give everyone a chance
Correct.
to help in the community,
Correct.
which I think is fabulous. We're going to give you that information in a few on how to get in touch with you. So, but another aspect that I love about the Sledge group is the martial arts aspect. Now,
Wow.
I love it because, you know, these days I feel like our kids need to be equipped in
True.
every aspect of their lives to handle all that they do and face on the streets. But the martial arts are very much a discipline,
Yes.
a spiritual discipline.
Yes.
So do you feel like in this fast digital paced society that it still has a place?
Most definitely.
And why?
Most definitely. I started the martial arts. My father put me in it when I was 10. 51 years in the martial arts now.
Wow.
2 gold medals in the Pan American Games, 5 national championships. I'm listed in 5 world almanacs.
Oh, so nobody can mess with you.
But see, most people look at the physical side and don't. I can teach anybody how to kick and punch. What I've gained and we've applied and integrated into the Sledge Group is the holistic piece of the mind, body, and spirit. The holistic approach of being committed to something, being dedicated to something. That discipline carries you. It made me the man that I am today.
Wow.
And that's what we really pour into these young people. You can be anything you want, but you have to be committed and definitely have to be dedicated and show some type of discipline if the outcome is what you're looking for.
Excellent. So those aspects of the martial arts with the spiritual principles.
Yes.
Really carry over. Some people, you know, utilize religion.
Right.
Some use, you know, some other holistic ways. But the martial arts
Correct.
is a really integral part
Right.
of your program, which I thought was just amazing. So now, sir, is this just for anyone as far as your mentoring program?
What?
All
Yes.
walks of life are welcome. I know you really handle our community
True.
very, very well.
True. Thank you.
But
It's universal. Our doors are open for free. We don't charge an application fee, a membership fee. For 19 years, our doors have been open. And you'd be surprised what other nationalities have come through the door to either be mentored or to be a mentor. We're children of God. It's a universal law
Amen.
of just giving and receiving that's so spiritual in nature that we can't just select. Yes, we're located in Harlem. Yes, we're located in the rough communities. But the bottom line, whoever walks through our door is family.
Excellent, family. So we're going to take a look now at some clips of some of the activities that the Sledge Group has in their program and see them in action. Let's take a look.
What was your grades and your behavior like in school 6 weeks ago? And this ain't rehearsed, by the way. I just saw his eyes look at me. What was your grades and behavior like 6 weeks ago?
All my grades were failing.
Say that again.
All my grades were failing.
Louder.
All of them. They were all failing.
For a grandmother to snatch her grandson and bring him to us says a whole lot. And like I know his grandmother, she could throw back. So, but she ain't throw that. What's your grades like now?
Now, the last report card that I got, I knew what grades I had. I have 4 A pluses.
My man.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Because see, Sledge Group ain't do this. Why did they get better?
They got better because after a couple of weeks being in Sledge Group, listening to Mr. Sledge, I started thinking about if I kept the bad behavior and not thinking about my future, where I would have been at if I had kept up my bad behavior.
My
Where would
man.
you be? Where were you going? Where were you heading?
If I would have kept up my bad behavior, I would have probably been up in jail or with the wrong.
What's the best thing in Sledge Group for you?
Me, I think it's affirmations.
Say
Wow.
that loud.
I think affirmations is the best thing in cycling.
Why?
Because it helped me actually think about what I wanted to change in myself,
Like,
like my grades. Because in 7th grade, right, I wasn't doing as well as I was supposed to, but now I am doing like really well.
why?
Because because I was actually thinking about it, and before I really wasn't. I wasn't hearing.
Let's give him a round of applause.
My man.
I want to speak to something with Amir and with the education. Why did you do so well this year in school? And speak up. Why?
The reason I did so well in school is because when I first came to Sledge Group, I was for all my classes I was failing, and my grades were they were bad. And what I did to fix them was I thought about what would happen if I were to get let back, and what would happen in my future. So I decided to participate more and to study a lot more and to do my own research about things.
My man. My man.
What's the best thing in Sledge Group for the both of y'all? What's the best thing so we know what to keep doing for y'all? Duh. What's the best thing?
Affirmations.
Okay. What's the best thing?
The energy,
My man.
Explain it. Explain it. Whoa. Explain the energy.
Because when something happens, we don't just let it pass by. We talk about it and our grades, our personal life and stuff like that. So that way we know that we're all here for each other and that we're not alone, and we could talk to anyone in the group on YouTube.
My man.
That's what's up.
My man.
That didn't hurt, did it?
No.
I got something for y'all. Let me keep it moving. Thank you. Y'all got something y'all to say? Come on. Baby, come a little closer. Come on. What you got to say? Talk to us.
Thank you, Deborah, for helping me improve.
I didn't hear it, baby. I
ain't hear neither.
Thank you, Deborah, for helping me improve in my math classes.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing me.
Oh, that is so precious.
So I graduated high school in 2005, and I went to college after. I stayed for a year, so I guess until 2006. I dropped out, and then I attempted to go back in 2007, dropped out again, and then I re-enrolled 2 years ago in 2016.
So that was how many years after high school?
9.
About 9 years after high school?
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of conversations about wanna go, can't go, wanna go, can't go, wanna go, can't go. What kind of grades you have?
Last semester I had all A's.
You have all A's?
Yes.
And so this is your last year? Is that?
Well, fall will be my last semester, and then I'm going on to my bachelor's. And then
Hey, jingle bell, come on, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Merry Christmas, my ladies. That's what's up. Now, Toys is in the corner. Okay, let me, Merry Christmas. No, see, give me a smile. Okay, wait, I need y'all to move this way.
That was amazing. What an awesome collective group of videos showing such amazing activities that the Sledge Group has administered to our community. We are just wonderful.
Thank you.
You did all of that?
19 straight years we've been doing this work.
Wow.
19 years.
That's amazing. So 19 years is a pretty long time.
Yes.
And that's a number of children. And my
Yes.
gosh, can you estimate how many children have come through?
We get stuck with the number because of what you just saw. The children in the shelters,
Yeah.
we do at least 7 to 9 shelters every Christmas Eve.
Wow.
For 19 straight years. Feeding the homeless in the street. on Thanksgiving Day for 19 straight years.
Wow.
And then you have the element of, you may send me your son, but your daughter will benefit because your son is changing.
Right, the whole home.
That's the holistic piece of the parent support group, the tutoring, the mentoring. It all comes together. So the number can be skewed in terms of our count.
Right,
We do
right.
attendance every time we meet, but the unborn get touched through this. If your son is 13 now and he comes back 28, he's a different man. His children, his son, his daughters will now be different.
Absolutely. And
Which
what
is a
you're
blessing.
helping to do is change communities.
Yes.
As well. So
Yes.
what do you see as a future? We didn't talk about this, but where do you seem to go from here?
I put everything in God's hands,
Amen.
and what I'm seeing is the young men and young ladies that were 13 and 14 years old are now coming back to us, 27, 28. I mean, they walk through the door on a Wednesday night because it's the last house on the block. They know where we're at.
Right.
But now they're teachers. Now they're mentors. Now they're masters. We just had a young man graduate from a major university with his master's degree.
Yes.
And I remember this young man, 13, 14, was a terror.
What?
He was a bully. He struggled in high school.
Wow.
He did get accepted to college, but flunked out the first year, academic probation. And back to the martial arts, the
Yes.
dedication and commitment, he never gave up.
Wow.
But to see him receive his master's degree and the honors that he received,
Amazing.
it tells me it's the validation I need to
Right.
keep doing this work and know that it's not in vain.
It's not in vain, and it will also pass on to more
Yes.
generations. Because what did this young man get his master's degree in?
In human resources.
In human resources. So not only are you doing such an incredible work for our youth today,
Yes.
but for future generations. So you said you leave it in God's hands.
Yes.
But I know that you and your wife in conjunction have such a wonderful team effort in helping. You know, I mean, how do you spot that in others? Because, you know, we have great mentors in our community, people who just want to help.
Right.
People, you know, but we may be chided, we may be a little jaded,
Right.
is the right word, I
Right.
guess, you know, because nobody really wants to take care of anybody else's kids anymore.
Right.
You know, so how do you know, the example you mentioned was a tough case. How do you help others to see that there's value in our youth?
Right. It's most people think there's a strict guideline to being a mentor, and it's really not. The state requires we fingerprint, we do that.
Right.
But in terms of the training, I think it's hands-on. I believe most human beings have a kind soul and a kind heart, and especially for our children. We have a commitment of 1 year when we do the pair of a mentor and a mentee. But I have mentee relationships going back 17, 18 years, and they still are in touch with each other, whether it's dinner, theater, or just phone communication or going to see a game together.
Yes.
The beauty is how much a person cares and wants to make a difference. And we spell it out real clear. It's an unconditional thing.
Yes.
You heard me talk about it in the past about, you know, my dad told me, you don't get a ticker tape parade or medals for raising your own children. You want to make a difference in this community, help somebody else's kid and do it for free.
Amen.
So that's what we've been doing.
That's awesome. And so doing this for years now, there's been many different entities and organizations that do this.
Yes.
So how do you partner up with others? You know, it seems like, you know, we don't like to talk about it, but sometimes, you know, there's some competition, there's, you know, maybe some political aspects that, you know, we don't necessarily want to talk about. Everybody wants to get on the bandwagon, so
Right.
to speak. But how do you find authentic organizations when a mom sits down and knows that her kids got a little bit of trouble? You know, how can they find organizations that are authentic like yours?
In the mentoring world, and just like the martial arts world, we know each other.
It's a small world.
It's a very small world. We may be the second, if not the third oldest mentoring program in Harlem right now, and we originated in the Bronx.
Right.
But the leaders, the community leaders, the people in charge of these organizations,
know.
they know. And we've helped develop other mentoring programs that are just getting started in
Yeah,
terms
your
of.
consulting group.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
tell us a little bit about that?
Sledge Group Consultants is a for-profit business. We started it before Sledge Group Inc., the mentoring program, and it was about speaking in prisons, speaking on a circuit, doing workshops and conferences. You definitely have to be smart when it comes to IRS and what's for-profit and what's not.
Yes.
And I draw a real thin line with that. But out of the birth of that, my wife is an author. I'm a published author.
Yes.
So we put that all under the consultant piece in terms of book signing and workshops that we may develop from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the books?
Well, Souls of My Brothers is a book I wrote I was a contributing author in 2003.
Okay.
And again, God, the creator, the spirit has put on my heart to develop workshops out of there that I just started launching in May called King Me. King Me is a series of workshops going back to before we were born into this country. We were kings, we were queens.
Wow.
It goes as far as how we eat, it goes as far as how we live, it goes as far as the security that we had around our tribes or our camps.
Yes.
King Me is educational. King Me, the chapter that I wrote in this book is called I Am My Brother's Keeper. How ironic.
How ironic for...
And it's some powerful brothers that wrote in there. Busta Rhymes, Congressman Meeks, Comrade Muhammad, who now is a pastor, formerly from the Nation of Islam. You had some powerful men that wrote in there.
Wow.
But all I did was take my chapter and develop it into a workshop called King Me.
King Me. Now that's amazing. Can I also ask you this? Now, today's society with our youth, we've taken many different turns. Our children are in many different aspects of life and ways of living. How do you embrace that, knowing and coming from such a wonderful regimented background and the martial arts and such? How do you now embrace this new era of our youth being so open, the gender fluidity of sorts and such? Can you just help us
Sure, I can.
understand how we can include that?
We have a philosophy that we started when we first started the mentoring program. Meet them where they're at and take them where they need to go. And a lot of times they don't know where they need to go, but they surely know where they're at.
They sure do.
And if you just think back to our culture and our history, I sat at my grandmother's feet. I sat at my grandfather's feet. I just listened to the wisdom. All we do is share our experiences on life, and we're honest with these young men and young about, life's difficult. It's rough. Just trying to make $1 in legally and eat and feed your family. We wake them up from being consciously dead to being very consciously human beings on the face of this earth in terms of what's real and what's not. But that philosophy has lasted as long as we've been around. Meet them where they're at, take them where they need to go.
That's enough said.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And as we're wrapping up, is there anything special that you'd like to share with our listening and viewing audience?
Okay, Sledge Group is every Wednesday night is our group meeting. Sisters United's in one room, Real Men is in another room, 13 to 18, 230 West 125th Street. That's between 8th and 7th Avenue. Totally free program. And when I say totally free, there's no hidden fees like an application fee. We want the young man and a parent or guardian to be committed to the program as much as we are.
Wow.
And our website is www.sledgegroup.org. Email is sledgegroup@AOL. And we're very easy to reach and very easy to contact.
And so welcoming. And
Thank you.
thank you from all those years ago coming
Yes.
on this little Male Ladies radio show
Yes.
to doing all of the fabulous works that you're doing
Appreciate
in our
you.
community. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so when it comes to media, we would love to share with you our proposal.
Okay. I will like that.
Really, because our youth, they're so involved in media. We have a fabulous group here taping and taking care of our show. But media has always been a prevalent part. It takes so much of our day and our minds and time. and especially our youth. So how can we incorporate our media initiative in with the Sledge Group?
We started a STEM program last year, and it was because of the young people coming in with the video games. I had 3 or 4 engineer mentors that are actually teaching them how to develop their own video games
Excellent.
and apps.
And apps, yes.
And what we do in Sledge Group now is break down the whole STEM process so they understand. Playing chess is STEM. Playing basketball is STEM. The cameraman is STEM. The mic is STEM. And it's opening their eyes to understand why the math, why the different degrees of math, why the different sciences they have. And believe it or not, it's catching their attention in terms of major improvements in their grades and their report card.
Right,
because
academically.
now they're being taught it different than the classroom.
Wow.
And have the flexibility to ask their mentors, well, how did you become an engineer? How much does an engineer make?
Right.
And how can I get paid doing this? This is what I want to do the rest of my life.
Wonderful.
So it's connecting the dots.
Connecting the
It really
dots
is.
and taking them away from an element in the streets that is non-desirable into professions that are desirable.
Most definitely.
Oh,
Most
wonderful.
definitely.
We have been talking, Mr. Sledge, thank you so much.
Thank
I know
you.
you said to call you Michael.
Please.
But, with just much respect.
Thank you.
We thank you. Mychal Sledge here, ladies and gentlemen, on Julian Productions, Inc., JLP Productions TV. We only bring you the best of our community when it comes to our youth and when it comes to our involvement in helping our youths. We're going to put up the information on how to reach the Sledge Group, but I myself am just overwhelmed and so happy to see Mr. and Mrs. Sledge doing some amazing things and continuing the good work in a holistic and fabulous manner. Wasn't that wonderful?
Yes, it was. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you back again here on another edition of Julian Productions, Inc., JLP Productions TV. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hey everybody, before we go, I have an announcement to make. I want to talk to all my letter carriers from the Postal Service. You know I got your back. We have a Founders Day celebration dance in November for our carriers and postal workers. It's the 97th Founders Day celebration, and we're going to honor some amazing individuals who are in the community as well as in Postal Service. But what's really, really great is our scholarships. Listen, I received a scholarship from the James W. Morris Memorial Scholarship. That's our postal scholarship. And I graduated Fordham University. Still on the job, still working. You can too. Come through. We're going to have a fantastic evening of dinner, dancing. We got DJ Dynamite Black, so you can do your boogie down Bronx on. We have a number of individuals who will speak to you about how you can advance in the Postal Service. So after you finish putting in your mail, after you finish delivering your packages, come through and see me, Laverne Bowen. I'm on the board for the National Alliance of Postal and Federal Employees.